Welcome back to Pensioners Corner, the channel where we keep you informed about the latest updates that matter to everyday people across the UK. Today, we're focusing on an important set of changes from the DVLA that officially came into effect this week. These updates are significant because they don't just sit on paper or affect long-term policies, they have an immediate impact on how drivers across the country manage their vehicles, their documents, and their responsibilities. Now, before we dive in, I want to be very clear, this video isn't here to alarm you or exaggerate the situation. Our goal is to explain what these new rules mean in plain English, so you can stay informed, avoid unnecessary costs, and drive with confidence. Everything we'll cover is based on information already published by the DVLA and government guidelines. So, what exactly has changed? This week, the DVLA rolled out 3 new rules that affect every driver in the UK, whether you own a small hatchback, a family SUV, or even a fully electric car. The rules are designed to improve road safety, strengthen compliance with existing laws, and make sure vehicle information is accurate and up to date. The 3 main areas of change are digital driving license checks, stricter vehicle tax and MOT enforcement, closer monitoring of insurance compliance. Each of these is already in effect, and failing to keep on top of them could lead to penalties. Let's go through them carefully, one by one. The first rule is about digital driving license verification. For years, most of us have relied on our plastic photocard licenses as proof that we're legally allowed to drive. But now, the DVLA has expanded its online verification system. Employers, insurers, car hire companies, and even some government agencies can instantly check the status of your license in real time. This means that if your license has expired, if you've forgotten to update your address, or if penalty points have been added that you didn't declare, the system will flag it automatically. In the past, small oversights might not have been caught until you renewed or applied for something. Now, those gaps are much harder to miss. For example, your photocard license must be renewed every 10 years, and failing to do so can result in a fine of up to £1,000. Similarly, if you move house and don't update your address with the DVLA, your license details will be considered inaccurate, and that can also carry penalties. The main point here is simple. The plastic card in your wallet is no longer the whole story. The real authority is the DVLA's digital database. The second rule is about vehicle tax and MOT enforcement. Until now, many drivers assumed there was a bit of leeway when their road tax or MOT expired. Maybe you thought you could wait for the reminder letter, or drive for a few days before sorting it out. That's no longer the case. As of this week, the DVLA has moved to what is essentially a zero-tolerance system. The moment your tax or MOT expires, your vehicle is flagged as non-compliant. Automatic number plate recognition cameras installed on roads, in police vehicles, and at various checkpoints scan number plates and instantly check them against the DVLA database. So let's say your MOT expired yesterday and you drive to work today thinking you'll book the test later. Under this new system, your car could be identified as non-compliant before you've even parked, and enforcement action could follow. The same applies to road tax. No more grace periods, and no reliance on reminder letters. Everything is digital and updated daily. The consequences vary. Fines can start from £100 and in some cases go up to £1,000. In more serious situations, vehicles can be clamped or even impounded. The clear message here is that drivers need to renew their tax and MOT before they expire, not after. The third rule is about insurance monitoring. The DVLA has now linked its systems directly with the motor insurance database, which holds information about every active insurance policy in the UK. This integration means that even a very short lapse in cover, sometimes as little as a single day, can be flagged instantly. Previously, many drivers assumed they had a bit of flexibility when renewing insurance. Maybe you thought a week's gap wouldn't matter too much, or you relied on direct debits that sometimes failed. Those loopholes have now been closed. If your policy expires and isn't renewed immediately, or if a payment fails, your vehicle may appear uninsured in the system. The penalties are clear. Driving without insurance can result in a £300 fine, 6 penalty points, and in some cases the seizure of your vehicle. That's on top of the difficulties you'd face if you were involved in an accident without cover. So, who is most likely to be affected by these changes? While the rules apply to everyone, there are certain groups of drivers who might be more vulnerable. For example, older drivers who prefer to rely on paper reminders may struggle if letters don't arrive on time or if they aren't familiar with the DVLA's online system. Younger drivers who change cars or insurance providers frequently may also face problems if there's even a small gap in their cover. Families managing older vehicles on tight budgets are at risk if MOT or tax deadlines slip by just a few days. Even something as simple as moving house can create problems if you don't update your license details straight away. A pensioner who moves in with family but forgets to notify the DVLA could find their license flagged as invalid, which could affect car hire, insurance, or even day-to-day driving. To make these rules clearer, let's look at a few practical scenarios. Imagine a commuter whose MOT expired yesterday. They think it's fine to drive to work and book a test later in the week. Under the new system, ANPR cameras will detect that their vehicle doesn't have a valid MOT, and enforcement action could follow immediately. Or take the example of a young driver who switches insurers but forgets to confirm the start date of the new policy. Even a single day without cover can now be flagged, leading to fines and penalty points. Another scenario could involve someone who sets up their insurance to be paid by direct debit. If that payment fails due to insufficient funds, the system may treat them as uninsured, even if they weren't aware of the issue. The lesson from all of these examples is that the margin for error has become much smaller. Small oversights that once went unnoticed are now picked up quickly by the DVLA's digital systems. So why has the DVLA introduced these rules now? Officially, the aim is to improve safety, ensure fairness, and reduce the number of uninsured or unsafe vehicles on the road. According to government figures, too many cars are still being driven without valid tax, MOT, or insurance, and that poses a risk not just to the drivers themselves but to other road users. By making the system more automated and less forgiving, the DVLA hopes to reduce these risks. They argue that law-abiding drivers shouldn't be disadvantaged by those who take chances with expired documents or uninsured driving. Of course, critics point out that these changes also increase the financial pressure on drivers at a time when motoring is already expensive. Fuel, insurance premiums, and maintenance costs have all risen in recent years, and now drivers face tighter deadlines and stricter enforcement. Some see it as another way to generate revenue through fines. So what can you do to stay ahead and avoid unnecessary penalties? The key is preparation. Don't wait for reminder letters or rely on last-minute renewals. Instead, take a proactive approach. Check your driving license details online every few months. Make sure your address is correct and note when your photocard is due for renewal. Set up digital reminders on your phone or calendar for your MOT, tax, and insurance deadlines. Aim to renew at least 2 weeks before expiry. For insurance, consider enabling automatic renewal if that suits your circumstances. Just make sure you check the price and cover before it rolls over. If you pay by direct debit, monitor your account to ensure payments go through successfully. Use the DVLA's online services to confirm your vehicle and license status whenever you're unsure. These small habits can save you from big headaches. When we step back, these 3 new rules give us a glimpse of how motoring is changing in the UK. The system is becoming more digital, more tightly connected, and less tolerant of mistakes. For drivers, that means adapting to a new way of managing responsibilities. It's no longer enough to keep the physical documents in your glove box, you need to stay on top of the digital records that authorities rely on. The bottom line is this: the DVLA's new rules are here, and they're already being enforced. Whether you agree with the approach or not, it's important to understand how the system works so you can avoid unnecessary costs and stress. If you found this breakdown useful, we'd love for you to join us here at Pensioners Corner by subscribing to the channel. We cover not just motoring updates but also important topics like pensions, cost of living support, and everyday financial guidance for people across the UK. Staying informed is the best way to stay protected. Thank you for watching, take care on the roads, and we'll see you in the next video.